Hi friends, have you ever found that you are really frustrated with yourself because there's something you need to do but you just can't get on with it? You're asking yourself, why am I so lazy? I've asked myself that question before. So today let's have a look about why we think we're lazy and what we can do to overcome this. So I used to get really frustrated with myself because I just didn't seem to have the ability to get off my backside and just get on with things. And really, I knew that I could achieve so much more if I could just get out there and do it. And yeah, of course, I had instances where I'd put in lots of effort and I'd achieve something that I thought was great. But then there were other times where I found myself in that sofa and I'm like, I know I've got so much more potential if I can just harness it. So today I'm going to talk about some of the reasons that we may find that we're super glued to that sofa and some of the things we can do to get ourselves up and really achieve what we can. With social media playing such a big role in our lives, it's really easy for us to fall into negative thoughts, and we're flicking through 30-second clips of these what we think are hugely successful people. You've got a 21-year-old next to a Lamborghini, a young lady dancing with thousands and thousands of followers, and we sit there and we watch more and more, and the thoughts start in our mind and we're like, I can't compete with that. I'm not thin enough, I'm not tall enough, I'm not rich enough, I don't have enough to start with. And you just get into that place where you're just sat there and you're not having a pity party, but you're wondering whether you're ever going to compete, and they're already so far ahead. But let's think about all the really successful people in the world. Do you think all of them are incredibly toned? Do you think all of them have rainbows coming out of their eyes? Second thoughts, that could just be a filter on Instagram. Or do you think actually some of them have come from nothing and worked really hard to get to where they are? What you've done, sat on that sofa watching all these clips, is you've started to build your own wall. You've started to give yourself lots of reasons why it's not worth getting up, because you'll never get there. You're telling yourself that you've not had the opportunities that these people have had, and that's why you can't be successful. And you're right, you've not had their opportunities, but hey, you've had your opportunities, you've got your own skills, you've got your own talents. Let's think about how you can use those to start building yourself up. So maybe you can make an Instagram reel of your mounds of cash or your Lamborghini or your latest dance move in the future. So I'm going to challenge you to pick up your weapon of choice, be it a pen, be it a book, be it your laptop, and just give it 15 minutes, do some work, start doing something about your passion and where you want to get. And you'll find that as you do that first 15 minutes, you'll get that little bit of reward from being productive. And maybe the next time you do it, it'll be 20 minutes, 25 minutes, 30 minutes. And before you know it, you'll be doing this regularly and you'll be on your way to success. So another really common reason for not getting started and giving you that sense that you're lazy is a fear of failure. So you've got that big exam coming up and you're like, oh, I'm never going to pass it anyway. And what you do is you create two choices in your mind. You've got I can study really hard for this and perhaps fail and get nowhere. Or I can go and have a pizza with my mates, I can go and play a video game, I can watch some TV, and I'll probably fail. You create the end result for both sides. So it's really easy to justify that pizza, that night out with your friends. But what can we do about it? So I think we can look to change what failure means to us and turn it into an opportunity. So of course I don't like failing, I don't like getting things wrong, I don't like making mistakes. But what I can do is I can look at them and I can try and get some knowledge from each time that it doesn't go the way I want. Some of it will be learning what not to do, some of it will be learning that something went really well and I should do more of that next time. So you create a pass it forward moment, but for yourself with your own experiences and knowledge. And this will lead to a greater chance of success in the future. Now, I'm not a huge extrovert. Talking to camera doesn't come naturally. So the idea of starting a YouTube channel was really nerve-wracking, but I knew I wanted to share some of my experiences with positive thinking and some of the ways I overcame being a bit of a waste man. So I took my fear and I thought, right, what's the worst that can happen? Well, I'll end up looking daft and stupid on the internet and it will be there forevermore. The thing is, if I look daft on the internet and no one likes my videos and no one's interested in it, then what's really going to happen? There'll be a handful of people across the globe that think I look silly. In the grand scale of things, that's not really a big problem, is it? It's not something that is going to ruin my life. However, if I try and make videos, I'm going to learn how to edit videos. I'm going to learn how to be more confident speaking on camera. I'm going to get over the initial fear of talking to a camera and actually uploading things and putting them on the internet. So that's going to make me more effective at presentations at work and just generally being a bit more outgoing, hopefully. So I'm looking at this and I'm saying that even if it fails, I'm going to gain more than I lose. So try and reframe your fear. Try and create that list of risks versus benefits, and hopefully that will push you forwards. So now you're thinking about studying for that exam again. Well, think about all the positives that can come from it. Even if it doesn't go your way, you'll likely have learned X, Y and Z, and you'll have an even better grasp of it for when you have to reset it, if that's what you've got to do. But also you'll have that knowledge that you'll be able to take with you forwards forever. And on the top of that, you'll also want to gain a few extra pounds from that pizza. That's always a bonus. Now we've looked at 2.5 reasons of why we may be lazy. Let's now have a look at a few techniques that may be able to get us off our bum and get started. So you've got a big piece of work to do. Studying for an exam, a new project your boss has just given you, and you're looking at it and it's looking back at you, and suddenly all the heat goes out of the air and this huge mountain just emerges in front of you. And you're like, how am I even going to get to base camp, let alone to the top of this mountain and down the other side? Now, I've seen people talk about this in the way of eating an elephant. You do it one bite at a time. Now, I'm not really sure we should be eating elephants at all, and I don't think I could eat one if I tried. However, the premise is good. You just need to take this into small chunks. Break it down into little bits that you can get yourself over. So that mountain, we're going to get up it one step after another, and you do that by breaking down your project or the subject you're studying. Start with putting aside that 15 minutes and just cracking on. You've only written the introduction to your project, no problem, because that step is taken. Now you've done that, you're closer to the top already. Build on it, tick things off your list. You're getting closer and closer to completion each time. And you'll find you spend more and more time on your project, on your study, and that will mean you're going faster up that mountain. But if it comes that actually you get a little bit sidetracked and you end up slowing down or putting less effort in, that's okay, don't panic about that. Go back, think about what helped you to get started last time and try and take that forwards. So just think, when you drive in a car, sometimes you go fast, sometimes you go slow, sometimes you get stuck at every red light. And it's always every red light, isn't it? But eventually you get to the destination. As long as you're moving forwards, you can get there. Now don't be afraid of okay. So many people are looking for the perfect study session, the perfect project plan. But if you've never done it before, it's unlikely to be perfect, is it? Looking for perfection is so extreme in some cases they've even given a name to it. A telephobia, which is a fear of flaws or imperfections. But you've never studied for this subject before, you've never written a project plan for this kind of project, so why are you expecting it to be perfect first time? Instead of worrying about it being perfect, just get in there, write your study plan, write your project proposal, and when it's done, go back and have a look at it. Some of it's going to need changing, some of it's not going to be great, but what you've done is you've set yourself like base camp there, you're already halfway up the mountain. And you don't need to worry about running your first ever race and winning the gold medal in the Olympic Games. It's not going to happen, so don't worry about that. So by being okay with being okay, you've set yourself an achievable target, you've set yourself something you can get to, and you've got rid of that fear of failure, because you can build on okay. Now are you like me? Are you surrounded by clutter and distraction in your working environment? Do you find it too easy to look at the latest notification on your phone? Do you find yourself peering above your screen to have a look at what's going on Bargain Hunt because there might be something unmissable, just this won't? Spoiler alert, there won't be. So what you've done there is you've made it easy to get distracted. So let's flip it around. So get your phone, put it on aeroplane mode, but also put it in another room, put it in a drawer in another room. Make it difficult for you to have to go and get it to look at it. If you find yourself peering above your screen to watch what's on TV, put a sheet over the TV, because what that does is add another layer that you've got to go through to actually put the TV on. Instead of just flicking it with the remote control, you now can't see it because the sheet's there, and that's likely to stop you. We've been project and study heavy here, so let's talk about exercise for a minute. Now I know you're all good people out there. I know you've all just signed up to do your first ever charity marathon. But I'm going to make an assumption, you're not regular runners. Maybe you can get to the end of a 5k, but you're going to need to lie down after that. Now you've got 26 miles to run, and that feels a little bit daunting. That's a heck of a lot of 5k's. So how do you push yourself to get out there and do the training that's required? Well, why not find yourself an accountability partner? Maybe someone else that's going to be running the marathon with you. So let your accountability partner know your plan, let them know your goals, let them know where you want to be on the route, and you can hold them accountable as well if they're going to be taking part. Having an accountability partner could be really great because not only will they be your biggest fan, but they'll also be like a drill sergeant at times. So if you're behind, they'll be able to give you some stick, they'll be able to shout at you, they'll be able to get you up and ready. But at the same time, if you're on plan, if you're ahead of plan, they'll be able to encourage you, and that will make you feel great. So you've got the best of both worlds there. So having someone who can pull you up on your bad days and cheer you on your good days can be really powerful and really motivating, and that's going to really help you get across that finish line. So we've talked about reasons that you may be finding yourself lazy, and then we've talked about some ways you can go about making yourself more productive. Be okay with being okay. Find yourself an accountability partner, someone that's going to push you forwards and help you out. Break your bigger projects into bite-sized chunks so you can see yourself making progress and getting towards that finish line. Now, I hope this video has been really helpful to everyone out there, and if it has, let me know what's been great, and on the other side, if it hasn't, let me know where I can improve. But all that leaves me to do is say thank you to all of you for watching, and I hope to see you on the next video.